This video goes out to all the misfits, right? The people that don't fit into society, right? I remember watching the Manosphere, right? And people were talking about alphas and betas, and I didn't know anything about that, right? As a newbie a few years back, I didn't know anything about alphas, betas, and stuff like that, right? And so I dove into what are alphas, betas, all the different types of men, right? Quote unquote, right? And I found out I was more drawn to the Sigma, right? My way I move, the way I do stuff is more correlated with what the Sigma thinks, right? And just like every other man, right? You're like, you're an alpha, you're not a beta and all this stupid shit, right? But I had to be honest with myself and be honest with who I am, what I like, right? And this is what brings about that misfitness. Misfit could also mean lonely, right? Because if you're a misfit, if you don't fit inside of society, you're going to be cast out, right? People don't understand you. You don't talk, mingle, do the things that normal people do, right? So Sigmas do march to be their own drum, right? And see, as a misfit, right, and me finally being true to who I am, right? As a young kid, going through pretty much seven through about halfway through college, right? 7th grade through half of college, so probably like my sophomore year. I really gave a fuck about what people thought, right? I wanted to fit in. I didn't want to shake up the status quo, right? Even though down in the depths of my soul, right, I knew I didn't identify and didn't agree with any ways people were moving, right? Anyway, no part of me, right? And some of you guys are that same way too, right? You know you're different. You just feel alienated when you walk outside, when you hear people talk, when you watch media, and the way they move and the way they talk. It just doesn't make any sense to you, right? And 9 times out of 10, if you have that feeling, your inclinations, your thoughts and intuitions are right. See, you're not a misfit. Everybody else is just hypocritical or delusional, stupid, immature. It's got to be one of those 4, right? Now, granted, if you self-reflect back on your current times or whatever you do, you do some messed up stuff too, right? But you know, most of what people believe in is bullshit. You've done your own research. You're an independent thinker. You've done your own research, right? You try to tell these people about themselves, and somehow it just doesn't correlate in their mind. They just can't get it. It's not you, it's them, right? So the airplane's going on. I'm about to start the Aggie game down the road, right? I'm shooting this right before Aggie game. But anyways, it's a different type of loneliness, right? It's not like a loneliness where you're at home and nobody's around you, right? You're not that kind of misfit, right? Because if you're like me, like if you're introverted, like I'm introverted, but I don't have a trouble making friends. I can be social. I can talk in front of people. It's just being in groups of people for very long. It exhausts me, right? So you have to realize and accept you're a different type of person. right? And most of the population is not on your time, right? And let's just be honest, most people are sheep. They have to be told what to do, how to do it, right? They're like lemmings, right? They follow the crowd, right? And if you're like anything like me or anything like a Sigma, the minute the crowd does something, you automatically do the opposite. You don't want to fit in, which is why you're a misfit. You don't quite fit in, right? So you're kind of doomed for a lonely life in a way, right? But if you're like me, you don't mind the loneliness. You'd rather be lonely than fucked up because of other people's BS, right? So I just wanted to come in and drop this video, right? I got some talking points here, but they're not going with what I'm feeling, right? Or what I should say. So a lot of you guys are coming and realizing, right? And you think you're the problem. You think, hey, I'm the messed up one, right? Everyone around me looks bad, looks at me like I'm the evil person, right? Nah. Right? I'm the same way. Most of my family, most of my friends, most of the people in the society, I don't identify with. I have to dumb myself down to people, right? Because their understanding only goes so far, right? You can't speak on the things you would like to speak on. You don't want to do or go along with what people are doing, right? It's because you're different. You're not meant to go along, right? And if you know anything about people, the mob gets led to slaughter, and they don't realize it. Social proof runs the world, but we have the ability to look outside of the world and see the bigger view of what's really going on, right? Because this is a thinking channel, right? If you're over here on my channel, this is a thinking channel. You're not like everybody else, right? You see everybody else's bullshit and them not making sense, and you can't be around people for very long, right? Your capacity for stupidity is very small, right? And by the day, mine is getting worse. I have to be honest with you. Some shit. If you start acting, if a person starts acting goofy, whoever the hell it is, I gotta just cut you off. Like, I'm not dealing with that shit at all. I feel like an old man. You know how them old men be when they quick to snap out on you and tell you what they think. They quick to cut you off when you do some stupid shit. That's how I feel, right? And I ain't nowhere near 40, 50, 60 years old, right? So you're different. You're unique. Accept it. Because there's no other way around it. You know what I'm saying? You better accept it for what it is, right? We drive the status quo. We don't do what the status quo is, right? We go above and beyond. Think more than the average person, right? Now, before I go too far into that, I'm not saying we're superior or whatever way. We just think differently than everybody in society, right? But that's my video. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, share the video, like the video. Be who you want to be. Be yourself 100%. Don't live for what people are saying, and go for what you want.